Yeah, I think on the Bird app yet.
Yep, up on the Bird app.
On the Bird app.
Yep.
All right. Looks good. I'll give you a countdown in five, four, three, two, and one. What is up, everybody? Thank you for joining us here on the Welcome Up Podcast. I'm your host, Famously Garden, and joined by my co-host Q.
What it do, y'all? What it do?
And in today's episode, we are going to reflect on what that South Carolina softball season was and how it went. Unfortunately, the Gamecocks just weren't able to get it done against UCLA. Just weren't able to get it done against UCLA, which, I mean, the winningest team when it comes to winning that, the Women's College World Series. I mean, they're the highest winners up there, man. I think they have 11 or 12. So tough stuff there, man. Tough way to lose the way they lost. It's just unfortunate, but what a season it was for Ashley Chastain Woodard and her squad. The future is very bright there. We're also going to discuss about the incoming transfers and the leaving transfers in baseball. There's a bunch there and a couple of guys that are staying. We're going to talk about that. And then also recruiting starting to get heated up. We got OVs coming up on Thursday, or excuse me, on Friday. Thursday, we're going to talk more about that. But 2027's class, it's getting really exciting as far as all that goes. And then finally, we're going to end the show with old Mike Furry's comments about Nick Harbor in the wide receiver room. Guys, we appreciate everybody tuning in with us today on Memorial Day. We appreciate everybody, the folks tuning in. We can't thank you guys enough. Obviously, today is a special day, and we also thank the ones that have served and the ones that ultimately gave their lives to be able to do what we're doing right now. So we appreciate guys tuning in now. Q, the softball season. What a softball season it was. I mean, from the beginning to end, I mean, it was just fantastic. The best start in program history, 20-0 record,
Yeah.
tied the program's best start since 1976, right? Incredible season, 40-win season. You hosted the Super Regionals for the first time in history as
Facts.
a national seed, number 8 seed.
Facts.
I mean, what a year, man! What a year! What just let's talk about it, Q. Let's break it down and what a season it was for year one under Ashley Chastain Woodard.
Yeah, man, that was an incredible run they had, man. I really have to give credit where credit's due. Ashley really had her players playing, man. There was a lot of belief. There was a lot of hope there. There was a lot of of substance in this group this
Mm-hmm.
year. We just couldn't get over the hump, which is okay. Sure won. It's okay. You're right there at Oklahoma City was right there knocking at your door. You really were an out away from Oklahoma City. So, I mean, you have nothing to hang your heads on. They picked you last in the SEC, and you ended up a top 8 seed hosting a Supers, and you were once again one out away from literally going to the Women's College World Series. It wasn't in the cards this year, but there's no shame in what happened. This is a spectacular, miraculous year. And I was looking back at it, and I think we're losing a lot, but a lot also returns. Like there was, I think, 4 people that played every game this year, and I think 2 of the 4 return next year, which is huge for a team that's going to be infusing some talent. There's some talent on that team already. You know, I just think Ashley is just getting started, man. Like she's showing you what she's capable of bringing to the table. And the standards there, like to her in her eyes, it's like, hey, we got to host the supers every year. And I think hosting a regional every year is not out the question. I think that's the standard they need to go to, hosting a regional every year, and then you kind of go from there. So I'm I'm proud. Like I'm extremely proud because I feel like she deserves it more than I can. I don't even know how to put it into words. Like she really did something very like Gamecock way.
Mm.
You played here. You care about the school. And her words of, I fell in love with this place after this year just solidifies making the right decision on the right coach. And guys, that's the name of the game now. It's not about plug and play anymore. It's about having someone that really genuinely cares about the program. cares about the
Sure.
school, wants to be there. And so when you have that, I see that she's going to be nothing but successful. The third game got away from us. It is what it is. That second game really took a lot, and it's hard to recover from a game like that, losing in that fashion. No matter how anyone wants to play it, wants to look at it, that's a really tough way to lose. So next year's going to be
Mhm.
intriguing. I'm here for it, bro. I'm definitely here for it.
Yeah, yeah, and the thing about it is that what she just did in year one, it just it's insane. It
It's
really is. And Q, you
incredible.
said it best. I mean, she truly wants to be here. I mean, this is somebody that has a passion for the program. It's what we've seen, for example, from Shane, right? I mean, when Shane came to South Carolina, we've seen that guy, tear up, get emotional more than any coach I've ever seen. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just showing his love for the program. And then I know when that home run, that walk-off home run on on Saturday, I mean, I could just imagine that ripped her heart out. Being a former player, and you could sense it. You could sense it, and that's really where that damage was done. Of course, on Sunday, UCLA's pitching came to life, and South Carolina's offense was just nowhere to be seen, unfortunately. But it's just that happens.
Yeah,
That happens. But you can't take all that away from what South Carolina did this season, and it was a season for the books. It truly was. I mean, it really was. This team was picked to finish last in the SEC,
agreed.
and they went on to being, as you said, 1 out away from Oklahoma City,
Mhm.
right? And we
Mhm.
saw ton of different records, in this season. We saw Ariana Rhodey, man, she set the home run record, right? She broke that. We saw, Lee Leo's performance. She was fantastic nationally. Ella Chansey, she recorded her 200th hit this year during the SEC tournament, and it was nonstop. This team was serious, and the thing about it is that she's just going to keep building from here, right?
Agree.
We're going to see a lot more transfers wanting to come play at South Carolina.
I agree.
This is not a 1 year thing. It's just not going to be. You know?
She's got the baseline. She's got the culture built at a very, very strong rate. And so I just think it's going to continue to go up from there. And I think she's going to do something that we haven't seen more of, and that's make sure the home state talent stays at home. And I think that's something she's going to focus in on a lot. So I think that's going to be good for us as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she's going to be able to do. Honestly, I
Yeah,
am.
yeah. And you look at the returners, like you said. Rhodey's returning. Lexi Winters is returning from Lexington, South Carolina. I mean, you've got returners coming back. So I mean, yeah, that's hey, it's great. So
Be good.
I'm going to remain optimistic about this program because this is not going to be a fluke season for Ashley Chastain Woodard. I promise you that this team is going
I
to
agree.
be a problem for years to come, and,
I
and the
agree.
SEC better start worrying about that.
And then you got one of the two pitchers coming back from this
Yeah,
year. And so I think that will help with the experience that has come up. And then so now you just got to bring in somebody else and you start, going from there.
yeah,
Because I think the portal's going to have some seriously good ones that's going to be in there. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's that going to look like.
yeah. I mean, there's already a few that the recruiting staff is already following. Maya Johnson, Ella Harrison, Maddie Rutan. Ella Harrison's from Rutgers, and then Maya Johnson's from Belmont. Those are two names to potentially watch out for right now. She's gonna cook. I'm gonna put it that way. Ashley Chastain Woodard's gonna cook in this portal. I'm gonna throw that out there now. So
Hmm.
that's just great stuff there. Keep taking it to the other side of the diamond. Things haven't been so positive lately, but there's been some positive news that has been popping off lately. For one, Bo Hollins. He's returning back to South Carolina, a Gamecock legacy with his father that played for the Phillies. Fantastic getting him back. He was a star at the first base. I don't understand why he wasn't a freshman All American. That still makes no sense to me. And then another guy, KJ Scobie, also returning to South Carolina. That was huge considering the names that were after him during his recruitment and that were going to be after him after this year. But he went ahead and solidified. He said, hey, I'm coming back to South Carolina. So you get two of your big freshmen back, which is massive. That's absolutely huge news. Thomas LeCroy, he said he's coming back to South Carolina after his injury, so he's coming back. That's another name that you do retain. And then look, I mean, you have your transfers that are hitting the portal. Names out there, Caden Gaskins. That's a guy I really wish I could have seen more from this season, unfortunately, but he's hit the portal. Of course, Roman Kimball was expected to hit the portal. He's officially announced that he's in the portal now. It's unfortunate, but that it is what it is. Roman's a great guy, and I truly feel for him the way he wasn't able to come back from after Tommy John.
My dude, right there.
Yeah, I mean, super awesome guy. Super awesome guy. Can't say enough about him, and I wish the best for him, and I really hope that he can find what he used to be, before TJ and everything. So hopefully he can just get back to where he was. And Tyler June's another guy that hit the portal. Didn't see much from him at all. So, some of that transfer news there. And then, of course, you get one coming in, and incoming transfer news that's just pretty big, in my opinion. But it is Josh Grigori from ULMM, and that's University of Louisiana Monroe. The kid compiled a 2.3 ERA in 23 appearances at 34 innings pitched in 2025, striking out 40 and walking 18 with a .197 OBA. So he's a redshirt sophomore. He's going to have 2 more years to play at South Carolina. So that is a solid get from the portal. Teams like LSU, teams like that were actually after him. So that's strong. That's a strong get out of the portal right off the bat. So good get there. Obviously, we've got a ways to go, and I mean the portal is open for a little while now, and I think it closes.
No, it's not open.
June?
It doesn't. It open. No, it opens on June 2nd. Closing
June
July.
2nd. That's right. Yeah. Oops, yep. That's right.
I mean,
so, yeah.
To me, it's. I mean, I like I've said before. We'll see. One of those things is we'll see. We've seen what's come out. We've seen a lot of things that have come out, and take with it as you will. I'll say this much: take with it as you will. But I promise you, my stance still stands. Matter of fact, I'm tripling down on what I said. I know what I said is beyond facts. I know what Whittle said is beyond facts. I'm tripling down with what I said. I don't care how anyone wants to take that. I'm tripling down. And there are folks that we know that we're telling the truth. And I've said as much as that we are telling the truth. So it is, y'all, I don't care how you want to look at what's going on, especially me being in the professional world. I'll leave it there. I just want you guys to know. I'm going to triple down on what I said. Is what it is. I'm intrigued to see what June 2nd is going to look like. I'm intrigued to see how this entire situation plays out. Because what I will tell you, I do not think this situation's over. And I am curious to see when the dust settles what happens with South Carolina baseball.
Well,
That's what I'll go with there.
Yeah, and here's the thing, right? I mean, in this world, information can obviously get out, and it can be completely untrue and all this, that, and the third. But I'm telling you right now, as Q just said, I mean, the information that has been validated by sources inside the program. I mean, John Whittle, Jack Veltri, myself, Q, Alan Cole. I mean, guys like they're not starting a witch hunt to go after Paul Mainieri. I promise you, that's not
worth the time. I want y'all to understand something. I would not waste my time at all on this. I wouldn't. I'm being honest with you about what's going on. We're not going to wait. He's not worth the energy or the time. I want you to completely understand that. He is not worth the energy, nor is he worth the time. And so therefore, me even giving him that kind of time and energy should tell you all you need to know.
Yeah. I've received enough, messages over the weekend and things of that nature to confirm everything that has been said is factual. And look, like I said, you can believe what you want. You can believe there's rainbows on the other side of Founders Park right now. I mean, that's fine, but I'm my stance remains the same despite the recent comments that have been made by players, and returners and things of that nature. I mean, uh, money goes a long way. Money goes a long way, and I'll leave it at that. Money goes a long way, and I'll leave it at that. It's very similar, Q, to things that we heard from Muschamp's time when he was at South Carolina. I mean, I just put it out that way. I mean, I'm
The
telling
only
you right
difference
now.
is players really liked Muschamp. Like that was a genuine.
Yes and no.
Like so the speaking from as you know, I was extremely close when it came to inside that locker room, what's going on inside that program.
Sure.
I didn't agree with everything he did. I always felt like he was a better coordinator than he was an actual head coach. I think he was good on the recruiting trail. I think he got more credit than he deserved on the recruiting trail because I think he was more successful due to the logos he had behind him. I don't think without a top tier logo he's able to recruit that way. Did he win some here at South Carolina? But there was a lot of help, as you know, FG, a ton of help behind the scenes, especially local help behind the
Absolutely.
scenes to get a lot of guys that were local. And so, but I will say with Muschamp, 9 out of 10 times, if the kid didn't like him, he still respected how Muschamp kind of ran things. He had a
Yeah.
respect for it because Muschamp was more what Muschamp was out of tune of was you have to have a balance between the NFL hardworking business 24/7 type situations and um, the kid still being in college.
Mm.
Now, I will say this: Muschamp would not have survived today because of
No.
how his mindset was. Unless a kid like I think Muschamp could have landed a kid like Dylan Stewart simply because Dylan is very about his business, and so is Muschamp. So that wouldn't have strayed a Dylan Stewart away. But guys that need that balance, it would have been very, very difficult, which is why he kind of stepped away and went into the roles he did. Because when you're just talking business, you're talking business. And so
Sure.
I with Paul, no. You no. With him, like after what I've heard, and I'm telling you, standing three, I'm tripling down on this. Bro's legacy is trash to me. His legacy is trash. And I don't care how many more games in this life he wins. He's not a Hall of Famer. He's not a good person. He's not it. I stand 10 toes behind that. So that's the difference. Like I have respect for Muschamp. I have genuine, honest respect for that man. I don't for Paul. I don't.
Well,
And you know, FG, I've never had that kind of feeling for any coach that has
sure.
ever walked in door. How bad, good, indifferent. Bev Smith, I've had nothing but the utmost respect. I love what Bev Smith was able to do. She had a certain criteria. They usually made it to the tournament. There was very rare times they didn't. I've had nothing but respect for that. Dan Horn, I didn't think he was a good coach, but I didn't think he was a bad person. Never had no disrespect for him for that. Frank Martin,
Sure.
did I think he was excessive? Sure. I felt like there were some things Frank Martin did that I really felt like it was just over the top. But
Mm.
as a man, as a person, utmost respect. Great person. Great guy. Spurrier, great guy. Was a jerk sometimes, but was a great guy and was a winner.
Yeah.
You have all those different things. When I look like when I'm talking 110% strictly behind the scenes, what you see on the field. Like, it's one thing to be a bad person behind the scenes, but you are dominant on the field. It's another thing to be bad on the field, but a great person behind the scenes. But when you're both and you're not bringing anything into the table, well, bro, what do I need you here for? Why are you here? And so therefore, that's where I'm at with it. That's why I feel the way I feel when it comes to Paul Mainieri.
And this is what's concerning about it all, Q, to me. For example, the Post and Courier that reached out to the athletic department, and one of the spokesmen, I don't know, after this long email is sent over, in a one-sentence email said, "Thanks for giving us that chance, but we will pass on the opportunity." That's the response that we're giving right now about this situation. I mean, it's
well, at the end of the day, this is how I look at it. I said last episode. I'm say it again. You have a choice to make. Are you willing to lose even more money that you're already losing just to satisfy another year of a contract, or cut your L and bring in something that's going to bring people to them stands? Because at the end of the day, if you have nobody in those stands, that's where your problem is going to be. That's where your real issue is going to be. I don't have a problem with Monty. Let me say that I have no problem with Monty.
Yeah.
But Terry and Paul, I'm good. And then you had a license, like you're driving your wife's car around with the LSU license. Like, where do you draw the line now? Like, how much more proof y'all want that the man really don't care about the job? Like, how much more proof do you want that the man genuinely doesn't care about it?
After getting ousted out of the SEC tournament, he rode back with his wife back to South Carolina. He didn't ride the buses, from what the reports were. So I don't.
I mean, you don't care. You don't care. Lamont lost in the first round of the SEC tournament. He rode back with his guys.
Yeah, he did.
Like, I'm not understanding. At the end of the day, you're not. What you're doing is not making any legitimate sense to me by any stretch of any imagination. And to me, you're making it worse. How I look at it, you're making it 20 times worse.
Well, I mean,
but it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. I'm good on it. I'm telling you, FG, this is the only thing we can do, and this is what I'm going to tell Gamecock Nation. This is what we do. You say your piece on the situation. If you want to hit up the board of trustees, you do what you got to do. I'm behind you 150%. You do it the right way. Let's do it the right way. Everything comes down to the almighty dollar. So what's going to end up happening is, after this is all said and done, when you start seeing people are not renewing season tickets, when you start seeing that ballpark being very empty, when you start not having a home field advantage at all, and now you have the away team being there way more than home fans, you're going to learn your lesson then. So once again, you're going to have to make this call yourself. However you want to do it, hey, by all means, please do what you got to do. Because like I said, I love Donati. I think he's a great AD, and I think he's going to make a correct, when it comes to decision making, I think he's going to do the right things in this. But when it comes to this baseball situation, which he inherited a terrible situation, it is what it is. But I'm standing 10 toes down on that, on how he is as a person. Was Paul even there this weekend to support Ashley? Like, no. Y'all share space. Where were you at? Shane was there. Mom was around. The mom was around. Where were you at?
Yeah.
And don't say you're recruiting, because I know for a fact, without a shadow of a doubt, the people you need are still playing ball. So we'll see. You know what? We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, like I said, it's extremely frustrating situation, and the upcoming weeks are going to be very interesting. Thankfully, football follows very, very shortly after that, as OV season is about to get on their underway soon. So thankfully, we have that cue to look forward to drown out a lot of things going on right now with at least in the baseball program. Yeah, so we'll get more to that soon, Q. You'll find out more soon, unfortunately. So, anyways, taking off of the diamond, we've talked enough about it, obviously. So football, we're getting going on that. Q, like I said, OV season starts on Friday. We'll get into that more on Thursday. It's going to be a fun episode there. Rasul Faison situation, obviously that hasn't been cleared up, right?
Let's take a pause first.
All right, let's do that. All right, let's do that. All right, so give it let's see. Give me 10 seconds. 26. All right. You have 5 second countdown in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, so now that we talked about baseball and softball and all the good stuff over there, we're going to break down and talk more about the Rasul Faison situation. Obviously, things have not been cleared up there, but Shane Beamer went on the record. He talked about why he picked Rasul Faison, right? Why that was his guy to replace Rocket Sanders. He went on the Always College Football Show, which, if you don't know what that is the show that former Alabama quarterback Greg McElroy, a guy that lost to South Carolina in Williams-Brice Stadium. What a day that was in 2010 in October.
That was so fun. That was
oh my gosh, it was a fantastic day. It was a hot one.
Worth it.
Yes, it absolutely was. But anyways, he hopped on the show with McElroy, and they talked more about the things about why South Carolina went after Faison. And here's his quotes on why he did it, okay? This is from Shane Beamer himself, and this is on why they replaced Rocket with him. He said, "We were certainly looking for a guy to replace Rocket, somebody that had that home run ability that can take an 8-yard gain or a run that's blocked for 5 yards and turn it into more of an explosive run. That's when we watched him. I think he's got great vision. He's got great balance. He can make people miss, but he can also run you over." He said Shane said he's got a good way out of the backfield as well in the passing game. Then the other thing that we liked watching his tape, for a guy coming from Utah State, he played with anybody, whether we signed Nick Sharp, the O lineman, he went to Wake Forest. I'm going to watch Wake Forest play Clemson. I'm going to watch Wake Forest play Ole Miss last year. You saw those guys, and it's the same thing with Rasul Faison. Rasul Faison performed to the challenges, right? We watched his games against Southern Cal and Utah. The same kind of thing. They saw the same great stuff out of Rasul Faison in those games. So it didn't matter the competition. Shane knew that Faison was the guy. And Q, we hearing that, right? We love it, right? We love it. But we don't have him cleared yet from the NCAA. And hey, obviously, like I said, we're going to remain optimistic about it. We're going to remain optimistic, but things just... You shared something earlier, Q, and I don't like the way it sounds, personally. I don't like the way it sounds.
Yeah, I mean... Baylor's wide receiver, I believe it's Baylor, if I'm not mistaken, just was denied his eligibility, which his case is very, very similar to Faison's case.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he lawyered up like Faison did. I'm not for sure. But what was said was Pavi also spent north of $20,000 to deal with this situation.
At Jet Elad, yep.
That's a lot of money to spend to get a year of eligibility back. So, let me say something about the NCAA right now. The NCAA is stuck between a rock and a hard place. Very, very big rock and a very, 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 very hard place. They know their power is a joke. They know these teams are racking in way more money than they thought would ever happen. They know they lost control when NIL took place. They know all these different things when it comes to eligibility and all that. They can say what they want to. Pressed hard enough, the NCAA is going to have to fold. They know that. You've already done the damage when you let Pavi come back and play another year. You've already done the damage with a blanket statement letting him do that. You should have put the rules in place when you first let him come back and say it has to be X, Y, and Z. You didn't do that. So that's where the optimism of Faison getting cleared is. But now it's in the legal battle, and the NCAA is going to have to answer for it. So I think eventually they're going to have to give us some kind of answer. But I promise you, if it's not the answer people like, it's going to go further. I'm going to go ahead and let y'all know that right now. It's 110% going to go further. He's put in too much work in the offseason. He's put in too much work, period. Him and a bunch of other guys have put in a ton of work, period, for this not to go through. So I wouldn't worry too much about it at the current moment because I do feel like a lawsuit is on its way. I promise you a lawsuit will be on its way. At some point or another, it will be on its way. And so we'll see how that plays out. We'll 100% see how that plays out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting once again, the NCAA. I mean, obviously the SEC meetings are happening right now as we are, as we are live with you guys. I mean, Shane Beamer, all these coaches and everything, Sankey and all them, and they're all in Destin, right, for the SEC meetings, and things are getting interesting, right? Things are about to get interesting over there. And the NCAA, well, there are a reason for that. There was talk about, I think it was today, that they were talking about the SEC and the Big Ten possibly moving away from the NCAA in football.
They do that. They can clear whoever they want to clear. They can have the eligibility rules they want to have. The NCAA knows what's about to happen, so they got to tread lightly with how they're going to handle the situation. One thing that the Baylor wide receiver doesn't have that Faison does is the fact that Faison's in the SEC. So you already have a brand, one of your major brands, that's looking at it the way they're looking at it. We'll see. I am still optimistic because it will be a few factors why Faison's able to get that clear. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I said, we got a ways to go with that situation, but we are. I mean, Key, we're 97 days right now. If you're listening live at Welcome on Podcast Live right now on Monday night, 97 days away. If you're listening, on Tuesday, it's 96. I mean, we're not. It seems like it's a lot, but it's truly not, right? It's really not in retrospect. So hopefully we get what we need soon off of that. Well, like I said, continue to remain optimistic, of course, but we will see what that looks like. Recently, Coach Furry, Mike Furry, recently joined the 107.5 The Game for the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour over there on 107.5, and he had some really interesting comments on guys in that wide receiver room. Obviously, one of the biggest newcomers that we've talked about coming into the season, and that's Brian Rowe, right? He called him the most explosive player on that roster. And what he's saying, he said, he's probably the most explosive and electrifying guy that we have in our football program. And that's from, like I said, what Coach Furry said about Brian Rowe, the freshman wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
He talked about Donovan Murphy coming in. Obviously, he moved in today on Monday. Quote from him, he said, "You're talking about a guy that's long, twitchy, high football IQ, tough as all get out, big time catch radius, highly competitive." And obviously, Murph and his ties, right, to Alshon Jeffrey, which those are actually real family ties. We've had Murph on the show. He talked about that, right? So that's exciting. It's really exciting. And by the way, if you're looking for some Clemson cleats, I think he's got a pair he's trying to get rid of. So, I told him Goodwill's open. I did. I said I don't know if it's open on Monday, but if it is, go ahead and take it over there, and you can get rid of them pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, one of Mike's, one of his comments about Nick Harbor really drew me, and I want to play this audio real quick. Like I said, it's from Gamecock Central's Takeover Hour 107.5 The Game. Our friends over there at Gamecock Central, Wes Mitchell and Chris Clark. Hugh, listen to this stuff. I mean, this is fantastic.
A lot of talk about Nick Harbor and the spring that he had. I'll be the first one to tell you Nick Harbor looked like a football player this last spring, and that's exciting. Mazio Bennett looks better than what he looked like in the fall. Vendravius Jacobs, again, we know his skill set when he came in from his previous school, and you look out this spring, and he's making probably the second or third most consistent guy, most productive guy in the room, and finished it off with an almost 100-yard game in the spring game. And then we all know about Jared Brown. I think Jared Brown has the potential to be one of the most dangerous football players, when he has the ball in his hands. And that,
I mean, hey, Q, what did we say coming into this offseason, right? A lot of people disagreed. But we don't need a wide receiver in the transfer portal. We're not going to go after a wide receiver in the transfer portal. And where do we stand right now? There's not a single new wide receiver that came from the transfer portal into South Carolina's program. Why is that? All the new freshmen, incoming freshmen, right?
Sorry, talent there.
Outstanding
the talent is there.
That's it.
The talent is there. The talent is there, folks. Everything can't be patched by the transfer portal. You have to go out and develop somebody. The talent is already there. It is already there. How do you think you can win recruiting battles if you don't develop the talent that's already there? There's no point in being a recruit coming to your school if all you're going to do is keep going to the transfer portal. Develop what you have there. If depth is the issue, like I understood with offensive line because of depth purposes, you never know what could happen when it comes to that.
That's right.
You still got to develop your talent that's there. We had plenty of depth on the wide receiver room. I never questioned that, so I felt like we were exactly where we need to be when it comes to the talent in that room. Oh, I had no issues, no doubts in there. Same thing I feel with the tight end room. Same thing I feel with the running back room. Same thing I feel with the defensive line room. All that. It's all about creating your depth and developing the talent that is already there. You go to high school to get these kids for a reason. Stick to that reason.
I mean, 100%. I mean, what? Even, back when Spurrier was here, before the transfer portal was a major thing. I mean, the only time that we knew about transfers was when Kenny Irons transferred out of the program, went to Auburn.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When things of that nature, when Chris Smelly transferred out of South Carolina to go play baseball at Alabama, like, we didn't know what transfers were until recently, right? Until like the transfer portal became a thing. But before that, Q, you just said it. We developed freshmen that came into the program, right? We developed those JUCOs that came into the program. It just it blows my mind that it feels like we have to get away from that. Mm-hmm. And if Shane does this, if Shane and Coach Furrier, they're able to develop what they have now, I'm telling you right now, I mean, it's just look what T-Gray's done. Right, with a secondary room, right? Look at what Sterling Lucas and Travian Robertson, look at all those guys, right? Clayton White. I mean, if you have this development that hits with Coach Furrier, I'm telling you guys, this is going to be a problem for other schools because it shows that it can happen at South Carolina, and that's a guy that's doing it.
Correct.
Because prior, obviously, with Justin Stepp, we didn't have that kind of development.
Correct.
Right? Correct. The recruiting definitely wasn't there, as we both know. So now you have the best of both worlds coming together.
And look at what's going on.
I'm telling you. I can't wait. I really cannot wait to see this wide receiver room in action. Mm-hmm. I really can't. I simply can't,
Me too. So then now you're gonna get a chance to see, prove the doubters wrong.
Yeah. It's coming. I want to say this is like deja vu with Lenore Sellers, but Q and I sat on this podcast all throughout last season and preached and preached and preached that this kid, Lenore Sellers, is going to develop in this season. He's a freshman, and he's going to develop. There are going to be freshman moments, and he's going to win games.
Just gotta give him time.
Just gave him time.
Just give him time. Just give him time, and we're going to get there. That's all I can say. Give him time, and we're going to get there.
That's it, man. Like, just patience, right?
Mhm.
It's a virtue, but good Lord, I mean, a lot of us don't have it. I love
Not
this
no more.
fan base. I love this fan base, and it's college football in general. It's just not this fan base, of course, but you got to have it.
Mhm.
You got to have it. And if you're questioning, like, did Cuban, FG really say that Lenorris was going to be that guy? I'm telling you, just go listen to the episodes, and it's all there. It truly is. It's all there. We've always been on that Lenorris, the Lenorris bandwagon, if you will.
Mhm.
So moving it to 2027, Q. Obviously, 2026, the OV is about to start, but 2027's top 100 has popped out, and Q, there's a bunch of guys that South Carolina sits there really nicely for, and
Well, really, a top 300 has come out. Like they still have
yeah,
a top 300. They've switched around a few things. They've given like 2 or 3 kids. No, it's 3 kids. 3 kids got 5 stars, and so what I'll do is I'm gonna let y'all know who I feel. Well, from my intel right now is we're leading for. First off, um, Sequel Patterson.
oh yeah,
He definitely that's a huge lead right there. He's looking at him at wide receiver. Trent Seaborn, I think us and Auburn are in a battle for him, but I think that recruitment's a lot closer than people are giving it credit for. Uh, and Patterson's 83 overall right now, according to On3. Trent's 205, according to On3. The next guy, definitely David Segara. Like that's a huge recruitment right there, and I think God of Burns. I think we're going to be a very good shot to land him. That'll be our first like running back recruit I can see like with the strongest shot of us landing out of high school right now, like him. And I think we're going to get 2 because I do think Aiden Gibson out of Woodruff is another guy I really strongly believe we're going to get
yeah,
out of there. Christian Jackson from Ridgeview. I mean, honestly, it's ours to lose there. Him and Gidron have talked a lot about playing together, and so I mean it's really ours to lose there. I really think we're going to end up getting that kid. Also, Kelly Murray out of Somerville, I do think we're going to end up getting him as well. That kid is very quick, very like he loves small spaces. The kid can flat out play. Jaden can flat out play.
mm-hmm.
I'm telling you right now, Jaden can flat out play. Uh, I do think at tight end, I'm intrigued to see what's going to happen with Jackson Dollar and Malik Howard. Jackson from Denver, North Carolina, Malik from Oak Ridge, Tennessee. I think those are 2 recruitments. I'm very intrigued to see how that plays out. I want to see how that board kind of forms more. We don't have a very strong feel for what's going on with that one, but I want to see how that board feels. Nate Carson, that Irmo pipeline is real. That has
yeah,
already been talked about a lot. I am very intrigued to see what we can do and go ahead and keep him in there. Also, a Joshua Samapelli, that kid loves Carolina. That kid loves Carolina, and he has literally some elite size at 6'8", 305. Like that's one you really want to happen. Nate comes in at 131. Joshua comes in at 195. So, I mean, you've got some talent there. Jackson Dollar comes in at 98, and Malik comes in at 142. So, those kids are also one. Jaden Murray is at 358 right now, but I promise y'all that's going to change. And so will Christian Jackson. Like he's at 305. I promise y'all you will see. By the time those cats are ready to commit and ready to come to school, they're going to be in the top 300. Like their production is absolutely insane.
yeah.
Another kid moving to the offensive line, Jordan Dillon out of Savannah Christian Prep. I think that recruitment is going to be intriguing to see. He's at 4-3 right now. He's going to move up. I think strong camp and senior season will do him some real good there. LaDamian Gooten, the literally number 1 player, uh, once again out of Savannah, Georgia, uh, Benedictine Military School.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone thinks Georgia's a lock for this kid. I wouldn't be so sure. The kid has been to Carolina a few times. He loves it up there. 6'3", 240. Yeah, I wouldn't sleep on that. I wouldn't sleep on that. I just would. That's all I'm gonna say to that. I wouldn't sleep on that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Jaden Bryant,
That's fair.
another Irmo product. Once again, top 100 player. I'm gonna go ahead and let you know. I don't see him going anywhere else but Columbia. I genuinely don't see him going anywhere else but Columbia. So, KJ Green, please keep this name in mind. KJ Green from Stone Mountain. The work we've put in, a lot of people want to get on T-Rob saying, well, we hadn't seen T-Rob get a lot of this. We ain't seen T-Rob get a lot of that. KJ Green has been someone that has been working. He's been working on for a very long time. I think that's another one we end up getting. Justin Weeks is another one. Defensive lineman out of Pace Academy. I really feel extremely strongly about. Nate Kamba out of Charlotte. I think that's going to be the next Charlotte guy we get. I really feel strongly about him as well. I think he's going to get to that 300 pounds, 6'4", almost 300. I think he's going to get there. And then the other kid, he's not ranked right now. Oh, by the way, I guess I should have told y'all that too. KJ is ranked 49th. Weeks is ranked 134. Kamba is ranked 199. And a very secret weapon I think we also going to get is Fields out of Charlotte, North Carolina as well. 6'4", 250 right now, but he's growing. He's growing. He's unrated right now, but I promise you when he gets his rankings, you'll see. Yeah. Jaboy Smith is a guy out of Swainsboro, Georgia. That's Vakari Swain's area. It's Vakari Swain's area. And he's a linebacker, 6'3", 200, but got speed for days. He's 115. We are strong in that one. He comes often, so we're strong. He's a very quiet kid. Hasn't really talked much about his recruitment, but he's a good one. Jalathan Mayfield out of North Carolina is another one that I think 116. He's number 116, 6'1", 215, a linebacker. I think we're putting a hardcore press on him. I'm intrigued to see if we're able to land him out of North Carolina. Joshua Dodson. Let me explain something to y'all. My God, let me explain something to y'all about Joshua Dodson out of Fort Mill. Think of Stephon Gilmore coming out of high school and how talented and how ready he was. That is Joshua Dodson.
Yeah.
The full court press has already been put there for him. He knows how bad we want him. I think that's one where it may take a minute, but I think we're going to end up getting that commit. I do genuinely think that. The kid's one of those generational guys that come out of there. Yeah. Generational. That's out of Fort Mill. So that's our area, y'all.
And don't,
that's our area.
Don't be surprised if those Gilmore, not just traits, but those Gilmore bloodline relationships kind of run into that Dobson recruitment. I'm just going to put that out there now. So yeah.
Davian Jones out of Charlotte, North Carolina. He's a safety that we lead pretty heavy for. I think we end up getting him as well. I think he's underrated, 378. I think he's going to move up some too as well whenever push comes to shove there. And right now, that's all I have. And so I'm intrigued to see what we're going to be able to do with that. So 2027 is going to be a fun class. It's going to be a fun class.
Yeah. Well, it's good. It's good information as always, Q. Obviously, we're, a lot of our listeners, they're out there. They see the stars, the rankings. Obviously, they don't know what to really get past to that sometimes. But having that information there for folks to listen to is going to be big. So, like I said, recruiting, it's about to get really, really busy, Q. I mean, this is the calm before the storm, as I like to always say it. As the grass is getting watered on the football field before the pads pop. I mean, this is it for recruiting. Like, it's about to get interesting here real soon. South Carolina, in most cases, they stand in that 2021 right now for the 2026 class in the ranking right now as a team. Obviously, there's a welcome home at least for one welcome home that nobody knows about yet. That's already been announced by Shane Beamer. Possibly two. We don't know. Like I said, I believe that other one was for 2027. Whoever that is for 2027, it's a dog without a doubt. You know, they are an absolute monster. Whoever South Carolina got, and they're an in-state guy. So when you see that Palmetto flag light up on Shane Beamer's X/Twitter account for 2027, it's going to be hard not to lose your mind because it's big.
Yep.
It's big, man. 27 is such a big year for South Carolina. It can't be said enough. It really can't.
Mm-hmm.
It's unreal, man. But great stuff. And like I said, Q, we'll get more into Thursday about OVs coming up. We'll really dive into that. It's about to get really, really interesting for 2026 and what's going to happen there. Q, a former Gamecock is celebrating in a different way on Monday, celebrating that happened on Sunday. And that is Trick Williams, Matrick Belton. That is South Carolina's own 803, actually, from, I believe, West Columbia.
Yeah.
How about it, Q? Go ahead and tell the world what he won, man. Like, what is he celebrating?
Man, he's a world champion in wrestling right now, man. He's the world champion, man. He's the world champion. And a kid from 803, man, making his dreams come true. Making his dreams come true, man. Making his dreams come true. Shout out to my boy.
And what's awesome about that, too, is that, Matrick, he's never lost his love for South Carolina. He has been at multiple games. He was in Orlando for the bowl game. We saw him, which is really cool. He was there with his girl. So, I mean, it's like this guy, and I think he lives in Tampa, but that's, either way. I mean, still, it's like his love for South Carolina has never gone away, which is incredible because Matrick didn't play under Shane. He was at South Carolina Muschamp. So it's like to see that, really just says so much. It really does.
It's huge. It's huge, and I'm glad. I'm glad to see it. I'm excited to see what's going to happen with him. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Likewise. And another former Gamecock that has been showing a lot more love to his football, his past is Marcus Lattimore. Marcus Lattimore had a poem that he put out about Connor Shaw, and I'm telling you right now, if you haven't listened to it yet, I'd recommend you to. For one, obviously, Marcus is a brilliant mind, and he's truly, he's obviously always going to be loved at South Carolina, no matter what the circumstances are. But what he's doing with his poetry career is is amazing, right? He found something that he loved, and it's away from football, but he's still able to, find a way to bring all that back. And he did this in this poem. So if you haven't listened to it yet, go to Marcus Lattimore's Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram. It's all there. I posted, I reposted it on Twitter and Facebook, so you can listen to it at Famously Garnet over there. But Q, it was truly awesome to hear that.
It is.
Talk about his former teammate Connor Shaw.
It is.
It takes you back.
I can't wait for his book to come out as well.
Yes. He's got a book that I think it was June 26th, I think is the day.
It's sometime in June, and I'm looking forward to seeing when it comes out.
Yeah.
My copy of it.
Yeah, and speaking of books, Dawn Staley, her book is out.
Yeah,
her book is out.
Uncommon Favor. Go get that too, man. I got to go get my copy of that as well.
Yeah, and absolutely
go grab my copy of that.
If you guys listen to the Welcome Home podcast on Spotify, you can actually find the book on Spotify. Good. So you can actually listen to the book by her narration. Actually, she's narrating the book that you can listen to on Spotify.
Super dope.
It is. In an update, Marcus Lattimore's book is coming out the 24th. The pre-order link is in his bio on his Twitter account. So there you go. So if you want to get Marcus Lattimore's book, you can go ahead and get a pre-order in, and it releases June 24th. So there you go. If you want to get Marcus Lattimore's book.
Dope.
So that's awesome. And that's a guy, Q, we hope to have on the show one day. I mean, that'd be dope. Tremendous. It really would. We heard him on the Johnny Manziel podcast, and we heard more about his life and what that really took away from the injuries and things of that nature. So we want to reflect on the good things that happen in South Carolina, right? The recruitment, things of that nature, and obviously what he's doing now. So we'd love to get Marcus on the show in the future. I mean, that would be tremendous.
Facts.
Yeah, that would be absolutely tremendous. But Kid, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, man. Do you have anything else before we wrap it up, my guy?
Nah, just be ready for Thursday. We'll talk more in depth about, where we stand with a lot of guys that are coming for OVs. Make sure we have, the list pretty much down pat, and then we go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. And as more news happens with the transfer portal in baseball, obviously we'll report that. We'll talk about it. I know it's a sore subject at this point, but it is news regardless. We do have to report on the information out there, so we will continue to do that. But guys, we appreciate y'all tuning in live. The Welcome Home Podcast on X, Facebook, YouTube. We appreciate y'all listening at the Welcome H Pod on Apple and Spotify. We can always find the show the next day, right? We record Mondays and Thursdays. You can find the show on Tuesdays and Fridays on Apple and Spotify. And the beautiful thing, too, is that we have a new Twitter account. And guys, please listen here. Go onto that Twitter account. Follow it, X account. It's called @Bleav, and that's BLEAV in the WH Pod. And you can find, like I said, follow us on Twitter. We're trying to get that account back and going because of the unfortunate circumstances for our last one. People suck, man. The hackers are the worst. I'm sorry. They're just terrible people in this world, man. I still don't. I don't get it. I really don't understand what happened there. But such is life. Such is life. Elon couldn't help us there. Unfortunately, we tried to get Elon Musk on the dial. He just was not answering, I guess. So it is what it is. So, like I said, guys, you can follow @Bleav in the WH Pod on Twitter. And guys, please download the episodes. Please follow, subscribe, rate, review. We appreciate all the love that you guys have given us. And like I said, the Welcome Home Podcast is here to stay. And there's a lot more great things coming. And as always, we appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Peace.